Ah, Anthem, rest in peace. You were supposed to be the next Destiny 2 competitor, the next Borderlands loot hype. But just like that, EA unplugged this beautiful masterpiece as of January 12, 2026. But because gaming refuses to let corpses rest, there is now a tiny microscopic lottery winning level chance. It doesn't stay that way. In a recent deep dive video via Eurogamer, former BioWare executive producer Mark Dara revealed that Anthem once had a working local server code. This means your PC, at one point, could have hosted games without EA servers babysitting freaking everything. That code now might still exist somewhere, probably buried under 10 layers of corporate shame. Now, will EA help the fans resurrect Anthem?
Haha, absolutely not.
And that's why we have hardcore modders doing their unholy wizardry behind the scenes. Anyway, before we talk about how Anthem might rise from the grave, we need to talk about how it got buried in the first place.
Spoiler, hype did most of the killing.
Now guys, to understand why the idea of Anthem coming back feels like finding a pulse on a dead body, let's go back a bit to when this thing was supposed to be the future. Back in 2017, BioWare walked onto the E3 stage and showed the world Anthem, a jetpack-powered squad-based sci-fi RPG that looked like Destiny, Iron Man and Mass Effect all had.
A very expensive baby.
This game had it all: seamless co-op, dynamic open worlds, weather systems, a shared world RPG built to perfection. Gamers lost their minds. EA executives probably bought Bugattis in advance. The problem though? Almost none of that demo was real. Behind the scenes, Anthem had no clear identity. According to post-mortems later confirmed by developers, the game spent years in pre-production hell, constantly rebooting ideas, scrapping systems and chasing cool words instead of design pillars. The infamous BioWare magic philosophy, also known as "it will come together at the last second, trust us," was stretched past its freaking breaking point. And then there was Frostbite. You see guys, EA mandated that Anthem be built on Frostbite, an engine designed for first-person shooters, not open-world RPGs with flight, loot systems or live service infrastructure. The developers had to build basic tools from scratch while racing deadlines. Would you believe me if I told you flying, one of Anthem's best features, was almost cut entirely because leadership couldn't decide if it fit their vision?
Which by the way changed weekly.
When Anthem finally launched in February 2019, reality hit hard. The game looked freaking incredible, no debate there. Flying felt amazing, combat had flashes of brilliance, but everything underneath was paper thin. Guys, the loot system was broken, content variety was laughable, endgame activities boiled down to repeating the same strongholds until your own finger slipped you the middle finger out of boredom. Updates were slow, promises were vague, players bounced fast. Within weeks, Anthem's player base cratered. Within months,
Ghost Town.
And listen, I won't say BioWare didn't try to salvage this whole thing. No, actually they did try it with Anthem Next, a full rework meant to overhaul loot, progression and systems from the ground up. For a brief, tiny, whiny moment, hope returned. Concept art dropped, dev blogs, they sounded confident. And then, shockingly, EA pulled the plug in 2021. Deciding the investment wasn't worth it. And now we fast forward to January 12th, 2026. EA officially shuts down the servers. I mean, they didn't even give us an offline mode, they didn't give us a preservation plan, it was just gone. A $60 always online game reduced to a fancy menu screen. This is the same exact thing that happened to Lawbreakers and Babylon's Fall. Hear it from me guys. Anthem didn't fail due to a lack of potential. It failed because of the stupid useless suits and its live service dependency. Which brings us to the crazy part. What if the thing that killed Anthem, its live service dependency, is also the key to bringing it back?
And this is where things will probably get uncomfortable for EA, because it involves releasing a free code.
Now we get to the part where Anthem stops being dead and becomes dead but making suspicious noises. Mark Dara said Anthem once had functioning local server code running internally during development, right up until, a few months before launch. And guys, if you haven't realized by now, that's actually really huge. Anthem wasn't always this fully server dependent zombie chained to EA's backend. At one point, guys, your own machine could host sessions. I mean, others could connect, guys. The game logic didn't need EA's live service infra freaking structure holding its hand. The code that Dara was speaking about is there to be salvaged and recovered. Guys, it doesn't need to be polished or any guarantees that it will work. It's already existing. And that single detail flips the entire freaking conversation. Because the reason Anthem died the way it did isn't just low player counts, it's that it was architected as a client-server live servers. No servers means no game. Period. If you actually thought your PC was running Anthem, it wasn't. Trust me, it was just rendering what EA servers told it to. And when those servers went dark on January 12, 2026, Anthem didn't degrade. It basically ceased to exist. But if local hosting once worked, then in theory,
In sleepless model theory,
that dependency can be replaced. Now, will EA actually try to help us out and maybe help us revive this game? EA handing over developable code would require generosity, foresight, and respect for preservation. 3 things EA treats like allergic reactions. Dara himself estimated that properly reworking Anthem into a single player or even a hybrid experience would cost around $10 million, which we already know EA would almost definitely not spend. Well, we can remove the almost. They would definitely not spend. And if Anthem is ever to make a comeback, it won't be official. It will be illegal adjacent wizardry. But the optimistic part is, this thing has happened before. I mean, the North Star project gave Titanfall 2 a second life when official servers were getting DDoS'd into freaking oblivion. Fans, they reverse engineered the networking, spun up their own infrastructure, and basically said what Thanos said himself.
fine, I'll do it myself.
On the other side of the coin, Battlefront 2 has Kyber, a fan-run multiplayer replacement that lets player host custom servers with mods, rule sets, and zero corporate nonsense. But it wasn't easy for them at all, guys. This wasn't any small feat. They required packet analysis, server emulation, security work, and an unreasonable amount of free time. Now picture Anthem. Trust me, I think it would be 10 billion times harder. I mean, it's a pseudo MMO. It has shared world systems, loot logic, AI syncing, physics tied to server authority. This is the final level of reverse freaking engineering. And that's why I believe EA is trembling in its boots, because they know someone will freaking try. Because Anthem has something most dead games don't. A core gameplay loop people actually miss. The flying, oh my god, guys, you are freaking Iron Man. The combat was really good. And the foundations, guys, the foundations are strong. What failed was everything wrapped around them. So now, guys, we're stuck in this weird limbo where Anthem is officially dead, unofficially possible, and spiritually hunting GitHub repository somewhere at 3 freaking AM. Which brings us to the real question. And listen, I want you to be honest with me in the comments. If Anthem comes back without EA, without monetization, without live service crap, would you actually play it? Or is Anthem destined to remain gaming's most expensive what if? Drop your thoughts down below. And guys, thank you once again for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more content in the future. Take care and I'll see you in the next one.